want to share a little practice that you can start to play with to connect deeper with parts of yourself right here, right now, and start to explore your inner realities through the divinity of your own magnificent consciousness. Before we jump into that, I just want to personally invite you to join the MagiiiK Portal email list to receive free emails from me that have amazing teachings and tools and tricks and tips and practices and guided journeys and amazing insights and teachings and applicable journeys and practices that you can use to serve and support your journey, no matter who you are, where you're at, or what your intentions are. They're aimed to support you in connecting deeper with the love and magic of your soul, nourishing the internal needs of your body, mind, so that you can experience more of the love and magic of all that you are. You can join my MagiiiK Portal email list by clicking on my website and then going to that MagiiiK Portal button at the top of the page and then joining the website, which will add your email to my list. And of course, you can unsubscribe at any time if the content no longer serves you. Okay, so MagiiiK Portal. Go check it out. Let's dive into today's episode. Okay, so today is going to kind of integrate some of the stuff we've talked about in the last 2 episodes. So if you haven't explored those, please feel free to pause this and hop over there and give that a listen, and then come back to this or listen in whatever way serves and supports you in this now moment. So last episode, we talked about how there's all these different parts of you, and every aspect of self is flowing through a certain energetic attribute of brain-body functions and has a complementary counterpart that brings balance to that aspect of self and amplifies the magic of life. The magic of life is what it is because there's so much variety to the energies of self and experience that are fluidly flowing in a complementary way where there's lots of variety, variations, and counterparts, but all in equal harmony and balance. And then there's all these different ways of connecting all the different parts of self. And we want to help parts feel known for who they truly are, and to help all the parts of self know each other, and to bring balance to the structures of navigation and regulation and body mind miracles that support the self. And in the episode before that one, we explored a practice where you distinguish the awareness of yourself from the experiencer of yourself, from that which is being experienced through brain-body wiring, practicing distinction and connection to expand awareness, expand attunement, and expand opportunities for the inner power of your consciousness to influence reality from the inside out. So for today, I invite you to explore a practice where you practice that distinction and connection between the awareness of yourself, observing the experiencer of your self-essence and that which is being experienced. And then from that state of expanded awareness, inner attunement, and opening the doors to influence your own realities from the inside out, from that space, start to explore parts of your self-essence. And in any given moment, you pause and you notice a part of you. And you can do this in a million different ways, which I talk about in other episodes, or you can dive deeper in my offerings through my business, but any way that resonates with you. Maybe parts of self in relation with your thoughts and your feelings. Maybe parts of self in relation with the energy of your mind or your body. Maybe parts of self in relation with your inner and outer realities. Maybe parts of yourself in relation with high or low energy levels in your nervous system. Maybe parts of yourself from past time periods and present time periods, maybe parts of yourself from childhood and your present day, maybe parts of yourself in relation with masculine energy and feminine energy. You can do this in whatever way resonates, but simply start to explore different aspects of your self-essence within your moments of experience. And as the awareness of self notices the experiencer of self, while observing that which is being experienced and how it's being experienced, distinction and connection, the awareness of self starts to grow curiosity and expand the activation of the brain's capacity for awareness and observation. From that expanded awareness, you start to notice these parts of you. And when you notice a part of you, simply ask. And ask without necessarily needing an answer. Asking is not to get to a place where you have a definitive answer, especially not like immediately, asking these kinds of inner questions is more about opening doors for expansion, not necessarily landing on a definitive answer quickly and easily, but more about just opening doors for opportunity, opening doors for expansion, opening doors for new explorations of your own existence. And so ask these questions, but without necessarily needing an answer, just being open to exploring, basically. And so as the awareness of self notices the experiencer of self, and notices that inner experiencer being distinct from that which is being experienced and how it's being experienced. And again, listen to those previous episodes for a little more insight on some of that. Once you're in that space, you notice these parts of you. And then you say, okay, I notice an aspect of me who is, you fill in the blank. I notice an aspect of me who is within this energy of self, or within this energy of experience, or within this energy of inner navigation, or within this, whatever it is. And then you start to ask, is this part of me experiencing the authentic essence of my soul within the human expression of my soul self? Or is this part of me actually within navigational projections of my body mind that are not the expansive truth of who I am? And when there's body-mind projections, that could be from subconscious programming. It could be from unprocessed experiences. It could be from social hypnosis and programming. It could be from traumatic experiences. It can be from past experiences where the fulfillment of your needs was conditional or temporary or inconsistent or contingent or not stemming from a place of unconditional love. It could be, there's lots of different potentials there. But the question is this part of self, aspect of self, within an expression of my true self, my soul self, my inner being who is in a state of unconditional love and pure magic? Or is this part of me actually within an expression of navigation from my body mind that is not resonating with the truth of who I am, the fullness of who I am, the love and magic of who I am? And this is where the explorations get really beautiful, because the more that you practice the distinction and connection, the more you see space between the awareness of self and the experiencer of self and the experience and the self who is within that. And a lot of times there's just the self and experience, and there's not a lot of space to clarify what's happening. If there's a self who's having all these different sensations and thoughts and feelings and personality traits and desires and expressions and communication and all this stuff, that kind of just is the self. But we're going to go a little deeper than that and say, okay, there's parts of self who are within this energy of experience and expression. And I notice that there is the self who is having the experience, and then there is the experience. And those aren't the same things. So is this part of self actually able to experience who they really are right now? Or is there a disruption, a distortion, or a restriction within the projection of navigation in my body mind? And so let's look at an example, okay? So let's say that you have a thought of really, really wanting to watch a movie, for example. We'll just do a simple, easy example here, okay? So you're like, I have the urge or the impulse or the desire or the inclination or the thought or the feeling or the drive to go watch a movie right now or in an hour or whatever, okay? So instead of just being the self who's like, yes, I'm having this experience and this is just myself right here, right now. And there's no distinction between anything, okay? Then you say, okay, wait, I am the awareness of myself. I am not the desire to go watch a movie, and I am not having the experience of a desire to watch a movie. I am in the awareness of all of it. I am in the spaciousness of my own awareness of all of it. And then once you're able to have clarification of the awareness of self, then you notice the urge and the impulse, and you're like, oh, wait, that's actually a projection of navigation from my body mind. My body mind has all this data based on how it's experienced life before, especially in relation with attachment needs. And at some point, maybe, watching a movie helped parts of me feel safe and secure. Or maybe watching a movie helped parts of me feel supported and connected. Or maybe watching a movie helped parts of me feel embraced, or just a sense of allowance to just be. Or maybe at some point in my experience, watching a movie helped parts of me feel seen and loved and celebrated and treasured and appreciated with a sense of belonging. And so at some point, there was some attachment need that got fulfilled, and the body mind learned, oh, when I watch a movie, especially, maybe when I'm feeling a certain way or a certain type of movie or whatever a surrounding stimulus might be, when I go watch a movie, it helps me feel the fulfillment of these needs. So the body mind has a navigational pattern of approaching watching a movie, moving towards an action pattern of movement pattern of moving towards that decision, that choice tendency. Okay. And that's created navigation in the body mind. And the body mind is just there to support you. It's just there to do the best it can to navigate and regulate self and life to support you. That's his whole job. That's his whole mode of functioning. It's like, hey, I got you. Like, I'm going to help you navigate and regulate life. Like, let's do this. And I'm going to try to support you in navigating and regulating life from the love and magic of who you are. But the body mind can only do the best it can based on the data that it has. Okay. So you're in this moment and you're like, I really want to go watch a movie. Instead of just blending and being the self who's like, yes, I'm just going to act on that impulse without consciously observing it first. Okay. You are the awareness of self. And once there's that clarification, then you're noticing the experience where there's a projection of navigation and the body mind is like, hey, I have an action pattern of approaching watching a movie, and I'm going to project that into the awareness of your experience through a sensation, an urge, an impulse, an emotion, a thought, whatever it is. And I'm going to try to help you navigate this moment in the best way I know how. So that's the experience through brain-body wiring, okay? But then there is the experiencer. The essence of self who is between the awareness and the experience. The essence of self who is actually having the experience. And this is where things get really cool and complex, and you can dive as deep as you want or stay on a level that can consciously make sense. But there's parts of self who are within the neural wiring of the brain and the body mind, and they're actually within the navigational projections that precede that thought or feeling. So if you have a thought of, I want to watch a movie, there's parts of self in navigational projections deeper beyond awareness in relation with those past experiences where watching a movie fulfilled some attachment need. And you might not know about those parts of self or that brain-body activity just by having this urge or impulse in the present moment. And so the deeper you go, the more parts of yourself you get to connect with, and the more you can understand and kind of decode this reality, because so much of reality is coming from the navigational projections of the body-mind or brain-body wiring or the subconscious, however you want to describe it. And the more that you can decode and understand those inner realities, the more you can influence them for yourself, and the more you can understand everyone and everything around you. When someone or something outside of you isn't making sense and you're like, oh, but I have all this awareness about how their body mind is trying to navigate life, so it makes a lot more sense. You can really decode and kind of just crack open the floodgates of understanding in terms of reality and human experiences, especially through the collision of consciousness and neuroscience, understanding how the divine essence of spirit or soul or divinity or consciousness is colliding with the human form through brain-body structures. Okay, so there's the awareness of self who's noticing the experience, which is projections from the body-mind navigation. But then there is the self who is having the experience within and beyond awareness. But the self having the experience has nothing to do with the navigational projections. The self has nothing to do with the desire to watch a movie. The self has nothing to do with the urge or the impulse or the thought or the emotion, other than the fact that they are within the experience of that energetic projection. And so in a moment like this, for example, the question is this desire an authentic expression of my truest self, or is it just disruption, distortion, limitation, or past projection from body-mind navigation. And just to clarification, there's obviously nothing wrong with watching a movie. There's obviously nothing wrong with having a desire and being like, yeah, I'm going to go watch a movie. Okay. This is just one of thousands of potential examples because it's kind of an easy one to look at. Okay. But in that moment, are you fully connected with all of you with a genuine desire to be fully absorbed in a present moment, having a new experience for the pleasure and entertainment and satisfaction and joy that watching a movie might bring? Or are there some parts of you that aren't fully connected with all of you in the present moment and are trying to actually navigate the fulfillment of attachment needs through the projection of navigation from past experiences? And so, for example, if a part of the self feels exhausted and not very cared for, then there might be a desire to watch a movie because that's a way of feeling cared for and like you can relax. And so instead of doing other self-care things that might be more nourishing and more fulfilling for what's actually needed, you might watch a movie by default, for example. And again, nothing wrong with watching a movie. Very fun and can be the perfect thing at perfect times. It's just about the awareness of your own self and your own inner realities and having a deeper connection with yourself so that you have more ability to consciously navigate rather than being subjected to unconscious navigation that might reduce the connection throughout all parts of yourself. Okay. Very subtle, and there's no right or wrong here. We're just exploring. And again, this is just one of infinite examples. You can, replace this urge or impulse with any other sensation of experience. Another possibility is that there's parts of the self who really wish that, maybe they could have certain types of social engagement experiences to fulfill attachment needs. And instead of receiving that from people or receiving that from the self, those parts of the self receive that through the experience of watching a movie. Okay. Or some parts of the self might feel they need to just relax and feel safe and secure, and being able to just let go of watching a movie can fulfill those needs. Okay. It all comes to the navigation of attachment needs, basically. And we want to make sure that the self is fulfilling attachment needs for the self consciously with deeper self-attunement and connection, rather than the body-mind kind of unconsciously navigating and just being like, oh, let's go here and do that, and then we'll feel okay, kind of thing. Another possibility is maybe there are parts of the self, such as aspects of the inner child, who felt a deep sense of closeness and being tenderly held or lovingly celebrated, or some sensation of, again, attachment need fulfillment when watching a movie. Maybe there were movie nights with friends at slumber parties, or movie nights with family members, with family nights, or, whatever it might be. But maybe at some point, watching movies was a way to feel more close and more vulnerably connected and just held and tenderly cuddled and celebrated, and all those attachment needs being fulfilled. And so maybe the body mind is like, hey, there's actually this aspect of the inner child who really needs your help right now, who really needs to feel loved by you right now. But if you aren't aware of those inner realities, then it might just come up as, I really want to watch a movie. And then you go watch a movie, but that aspect of the inner child is still there needing you and not receiving the love that they truly need. Okay, so in this example, and in any example, you can put in any sensation of your own experience, there's a projection of navigation that says, hey, here's a thought, here's a feeling, here's an impulse, an urge, a choice tendency, an action pattern, a movement potential, etc. And it's trying to help you navigate through your mind, navigate through your feelings, navigate through your body, navigate through your choices, navigate through your movement, navigate through your perceptions, navigate through your responses, navigate through your communication. Okay, so the body mind's trying to navigate. But the self who is within the experience of that navigation is not the same thing as the projection of that experience. And so we want to connect with the authentic essence of those parts of self. And we can't do that if we assume that those parts of self are the experience, or that the experience is an authentic reflection of who they are. Because Another example, let's say there's a sensation of anxiety coming up, okay? You take a step back, you are the awareness, and you're noticing the sensation of anxiety, but then you notice the self who is within that sensation. If you assume that the anxiety is some type of communication from that part of the self, then you're going to miss the opportunity to connect with who that part of self really is. Because that aspect of self, that part of consciousness, that aspect of your soul essence who is within a human experience in that moment, is not the same thing as those sensations, which are just navigational projections from the body-mind. And of course, the more intense and consuming they are, the harder it is to have distinction between these aspects of self and experience and have attuned connection, which just requires more practice, more mindfulness, more dual awareness, more practice, more presence, more mindfulness, more dual awareness, more practice, more self-attunement. Practice, practice, practice. Practice makes progress. Every moment that you practice is a seed planted, which holds eternal blooms. And so when there are these sensations of navigation, whatever that might look like, it's important to have distinction and connection between the awareness of self, the experiencer of self, different aspects of the inner experiencer, and then that is the self. And then there's like this rippling waterfall curtain, and on the other side is the experience, where there's brain-body wiring, body-mind structures, different types of inner and outer forms of stimulus, and the moment of experience being projected in relation with how the moment is activating brain-body wiring and the structures of body-mind miracles that provide navigation and regulation beyond awareness. And so in this practice, I invite you to explore inquiring deeper, and as you practice distinction and connection between the awareness of self, the experiencer of yourself, maybe different parts of your inner experiencer, and then the brain-body wiring that's influencing the translation of that moment of experience and the navigation it's providing and the sensations of your own self and life within that moment of projected experience through consciousness and brain-body structures. As you practice that distinction and connection, guide the awareness of self to grow curious and say, okay, I'm noticing a part of me who is, you fill in the blank, wanting to watch a movie, feeling a sensation of anxiety, missing this person, longing for this sensation, desiring this thing, worrying about this, thinking about this, feeling this in this state of energy level, whatever it might be. Any sensation within your sense of self or inner realities or the translations of your moment of experience, you notice that part of you, and then you say, okay, just curious, is this part of me actually experiencing the authenticity of their self-essence in relation with the unconditional love and pure magic of my soul? Or is this part of me within a navigational projection from the body-mind, unable to know themselves beyond that projection, unable to know themselves independently of that subconscious navigation? And in that space, to just be able to connect deeper with yourself, to be able to hold space for yourself, to be able to honor these parts of you, to be able to see beyond the moment and deeper within your self-essence within the moment. And again, there's nothing wrong with honoring feelings as they come up, nothing wrong with acting on impulses and watching a movie or whatever it might be. The important thing is that you are in connection with all parts of you and navigating life from a place of unconditional love and pure magic that aligns with your authentic soul essence. And that can sometimes be pretty hard to distinguish. If the awareness of self is a little bit tired, maybe, and not in its sharpest state of awareness, or if there's a lot going on with the body and the body-mind and brain-body structures, maybe it's exhausted or dysregulated or going through some discomfort or pain or challenges, or maybe there's a lot of navigational projections going on or a lot of disruption of navigation. Maybe there's all kinds of mental health challenges that are disrupting that navigation. And so it's not always easy to tell if the parts of you you're noticing in a present moment are the truth of your essence in their fullest expression and embodiment within that moment, or if they are overly identified with the body-mind navigation, unable to be distinguished from it, unable to know themselves beyond it, unable to connect with other aspects of self beyond the projection that they are within. And so I just invite you to play with this practice and explore its possibilities in your everyday moments right here, right now, and to continue practicing, exploring, and playing with it and coming back to it, returning to it, expanding further into this exploration. Practice distinction and connection between the awareness of self, what you are noticing as the experience, and then connecting deeper with parts of you who are the experiencer of your self essence. And then from that place, just notice parts of yourself specifically, and you can describe that to yourself for clarification. I am noticing a part of me who really wants to watch a movie right now. I am noticing a part of me who really wants this right now. I'm noticing a part of me that really feels this right now. I'm noticing a part of me who's thinking about this thing, okay, whatever it is. And then inquire further and just curiously, I wonder, is this part of me within the fullest expression of my authentic soul self right now? Or I wonder if this part of me has never gotten to know who they are beyond just the way the body-mind navigates that part of the self. And from that space, you can start to just expand awareness and open doors to connect deeper with the self. Because as soon as the self starts to see the awareness, looking inward and noticing the self beyond just the projections of experience, that alone can click a lot of miracles into place. And parts of the self are like, whoa, I'm seen for who I am, not just what I'm experiencing and how I'm experiencing it. Whoa, there's other aspects of me here within me right now that actually care about me, not just what I'm experiencing or how I'm experiencing it. Whoa, there's parts of me who are actually open to knowing me beyond how I have experienced the projection of knowing myself. And so just asking these questions and opening those doors through the expanded awareness and this conscious practice can really start to move things in your inner realities and open new doors that you never even knew existed. Much less could I possibly dream of what might be on the other side when you open that door. Thank you so much for exploring this. If you'd like to dive deeper, please do check out my other amazing free content. And to dive even deeper, I offer a variety of self-guided journeys through playbooks, mostly, some with video content. And there's introductory, beginner, intermediate, and advanced journeys, whether you want to explore these ideas or have tangible hands-on tools and practices. And they're great starter journeys if you're just starting out and you're just practicing this mindfulness, self-love, self-attunement stuff, just early stages, dipping your toe in the water. Or if you're struggling with some really intense stuff where it's really challenging, having that introductory baseline can really help you create that strong foundation. And then when you're ready for that next level, there's amazing intermediate journeys, a variety of them that all have different pathways that fulfill different intentions in different ways, but all with that goal of connecting deeper with yourself and allowing the brain-body structures to support the essence of the soul, basically, through that unconditional love and pure magic of your authentic being. And then if you want to dive deeper, there's also the advanced journeys. And then I have one-on-one sacred soul sessions, and we can connect and dive deeper into exploring these concepts in relation with your journey at this time and what your intentions are. And then if you want to have the deepest dive, I have 2 different styles of one-on-one multi-month journeys, and I do have spaces available. So I would absolutely love to connect with you and discuss possibility if this work resonates with you and you're ready for that next level. You're ready to meet all those parts of yourself. You're ready to create somatic sensations of loving liberation. You're ready to really discover who you are beyond just the navigation of your own body mind. You are ready for those weekly sessions and daily practices that are going to change your life, that are going to crack you open in the best way so that you can know more of all of you. And with those weekly sessions and daily practices and complementary playbooks and journeys and content creations and, the opportunity to connect with me through email between our sessions as well, if anything comes up, and those daily practices, those weekly sessions, all of it, those few weeks, those few months that we spend will quantumly catalyze your life so that the months and years to come are filled with more juicy goodness and glorious wonder and expanded unity and wholeness and greater self-connection and attunement and an expanded sense of self and a greater knowing of who you are and more power and influence and authority within your own inner realities and all the tools and skill sets to understand and shapeshift any area of your personal experience, moving beyond psychology and actually understanding the neuroscience of how consciousness is flowing through your being to affect your experience from the inside out. It is a quantum catalyzer to serve and support you during our time together, but it will also shift and expand the months and years to come beyond it with how beautifully deep we dive. And one of the journeys is through Reborn as infinite love with body, mind, soul, self treasure mapping and personalized play prompt prescriptions and trifecta treasure trove tete-a-tetes and teachings. So much magic. And then the other personalized one-on-one journey is through the magical Mirrorthon Mystery School with guided Mirrorthon experiences that guide you into meeting more of you than you've ever known, while influencing how the brain and the body are wired to support the essence of your soul within your embodied experience, expression, and expansion. You can discover more about all of these amazing offerings, each of them through web pages and introductory playbooks. There's lots of juicy goodness about what's offered and the value of them, and taste test samplings of them, further insight about them, all of the goodness. And you can connect with me through email to order any self-guided journey, schedule a one-time session, or inquire about a multi-month personalized pathway. And again, I do have spaces open, and I would absolutely be honored to serve and support you through these journeys, to serve the facilitation of the teaching and guidance through these journeys so that you can quantum leap into the loving liberation that your soul is craving to know in a brand new way, deeper than ever before. Explore more in the video or episode description, and you can find out more in some of the other recent content creations. And my email inbox is wide open with open arms, lovingly welcome you in to connect with these offerings if you feel inspired to. I would be so deeply honored to serve and support you in that deeper dive, whether that's through an self-guided journey, even at an introductory level, or a single session, anywhere from 30 minutes to 2.5 hours, just depending which offering you'd love to dive into, or a 3 or 6 month personalized journey with me that will completely transform your life in the best way, in the way that every day just feels like unconditional love and pure magic in ways you've never experienced it before. And it is the greatest deliciousness of meeting your soul beyond anything you've ever encountered before. And whether you're new to this, inner work, personal development, soul growth, shadow work, light work, however you want to describe it, whether you're new to that journey or you've been doing this a long time and you're like, yeah, I've been going inward for like 5, 10, 20 years, no matter who you are, where you're at, these journeys have the amazing potential to truly quantum leap your journey. And the self-guided journeys, you can pick whichever kind of level you're at and find the perfect fit for you. And if you connect with me for personalized sessions, they're really, really personalized to meet you, who you are, where you're at, what your intentions are. And that can be at an introductory beginner level. You're brand new. You've never explored your inner realities. Like, what is this stuff? How do you healing? Like, what are we doing? Or whether you're like, yeah, I've been doing this for like 15 years. Like, do you really have something new that I've never experienced before? Yes, I promise you I do. So please feel free to explore the offerings and reach out through email. I would love to connect with you. Otherwise, I will catch you in another episode or content creation. Have a beautiful and blessed day.